Hi guys, my name is Nigel and I'm gonna teach you guys how to create a simple VRChat world today. Well, first things first, we need to download Unity. Make sure you have the Unity hub. You can download it on the website from Unity itself. When you have downloaded it, you can start it and you will see like a window pop up like this. And actually before we can get our project to work, you also need to download the version that VRChat supports. So you go to this link. I'll provide the links in the description, so you can click on it when it's there. Oh yeah. So you go to Unity 2018, and in here, at this day, I believe they're supporting only 2018.4.20, so make sure that you downloaded it for the Unity Hub. Just press the button and it will install it to your Unity Hub. So when you got your project or your Unity Hub over here, your version should stand in here, and if it isn't, make sure you download it again, and if it is, you're fine and we can actually create a new project. So press that button, new project, give your world an amazing name like my amazing home. Just save it to a location that you like and put it in here and press create. Well, this process is gonna take a little while, so in the meanwhile we're going to the VRChat website. Make sure you log in and press on the download button in the menu. In here you get two SDKs. You get the VRChat SDK 2 and the VRChat SDK 3. The version 3 supports Udon, but we're not using that right now. Either way, it doesn't really matter which of the two you pick for this purpose, but I would suggest you to download the version 2s for the next coming tutorials as well. Just press the button and it will start download the Unity package for you. I got it already over here. So, and it's still busy. Just hold on a little second till it's done. There we go. So it opens up Unity, and well, we got nothing in here yet. Like our scenes is just the sample scene, that the one that we see over here. That this is your sample scene, but no assets at all. So we need to connect to the VRChat SDK. For now, I'm gonna close this because we don't need it anymore. So you got that file that you just downloaded over here or on your own location, and just double tap it. Make sure it opens. It will decompress the Unity package. It's like a kind of a zip file, but for Unity. And when that's done, it will give you a list of all the objects that are in the package. And this purpose, it's the SDK, of course, plus some example prefabs and some models that we can use. Alright, so here we can see the whole list of things that are in the package. You don't have to do anything in here except for pressing the button import. Here we go. So from now on, alright, so it's all imported right now. You can see that we still have the scene, that's the sample scene. We got an example folder and an DSDK folder. So I'm gonna expand this and I'm gonna drag my environment a little bit to all sides. Alright, so now we got like this menu item over here saying VRChat SDK. I'm gonna show the control panel and it will open up a new window where you can sign in to your account for VRChat. So make sure you put your own credentials in it and press sign in. And then you will see like, okay, you're allowed to publish worlds and allowed to publish avatars. From this point, we're fine. And I'm gonna drag this right over there so it's in the window now. And I can easily access it instead of every time pushing this button. So, okay. That was the first step. Now we're ready to go. As like the VR SDK is saying, we need a scene descriptor or an avatar descriptor, and we can pretty easily add that to the scene by just going to the VRChat examples, prefabs, and then you will see a few things in there. And for this purpose, for the worlds, we just need the VRC role. So we're gonna drag it right into our sample scene like this. And you can see that the builder is now asking to set up layers for VRChat and stating that you must address the above issues first. But we're gonna just press this button and say do it. It's gonna create some extra layers that you can use, like post-processing, player, pickups, everything, and set up the collision matrix. Just do it, and from now on we're fine, we're good to go. We can actually switch to target to Android, and that means that you can build the worlds also for the Quest headset. For now I'm not gonna address that because it's almost the same process, but it's a little bit more complicated. So for now we're just gonna check the other message over here, and it's stating that the automatic light map generation is enabled. We can just auto fix it by pressing the button, but you can also go to Lightning over here and just untick this little box over here, and that will solve the problem. Okay, going no, let's stay in the Lightning. One thing that I always like to set before even building the world is checking the ambient occlusion. It gives the worlds a little bit of nicer shading, lightning shades to the objects. And I like to set the light map size to like 2048 for PC. If you're gonna build a world for Quest, make sure you set it to 1000 and not go beyond that, because it will crash or give some other problems to the Quest user. But for now, for the PC, let's keep it at 2048. And for the resolution of the reflections, I like to set it to 256 or 512. It really depends a little bit on the environment you have. If it's a big environment, then I like to have a bigger resolution so you can see more detail in it. But for now, we're gonna stick with 128. It's fine. So we're set and good to build the world now. Or let me quickly check. We got some sample assets in the SDK for prototyping, and there's directory called models, and in there you can find all kinds of shapes that you can use. We're going back to game over here because we don't need the SDK for now. I'm gonna drag it a little bit to the side so I can see better what I'm doing. And for now it's just press the VRC world, press F on your keyboard to zoom in on it. And you can move around with right click on your mouse button and use WASD to move around in the play space. If you hold shift you can go faster or slower. So that are just some basic keys that you're gonna use a lot in here. But for the world building, well, we can check what let me check inspector so you can see what I'm selecting. So there are like 3 kinds of floor prototypes. For the purpose it doesn't really matter which one, but we're going with the small one. You can see that we got a whole white plane over here which we can walk onto. Just drag it in, make sure it's fine, it looks good, so that's fine. And then tick static. Always tick static for all the objects that are not moving or are part of your environment. It makes the overall building a little bit quicker, and you can add reflection probes to the world so it catches everything that is static and reflect those objects to your other objects. We will get in there later on, but for now just make sure that you always tick static whenever you're making a world and the models aren't supposed to move, like they aren't animating. And for the reflection probes, just select blend probes and skybox, so it also reflect from the skybox, making the models look nicer when you make the light maps. Cast shadows, normally I put them on, but when I create the models myself I mostly make them two-sided because I never create like the bottom plane. You could erase that from your model, saving up a little bit of processing power for the worlds. But for now just keep that on, and scale and light map, that can be between 0 and 1, and just give it like a number that suits you and defines the model in your world. As this is the walkable area, you want this to be pretty high, like 8 or 9 or perhaps even 1, because it's an important part of your world, so you want the best shadow mapping on this. Also make sure that you stitch the seams so the shadows look a lot better when they're intersecting the different kind of models. And that's it for like this model. Now we can just drag and drop everything we want. Like we want a wall, we're gonna place it over there. No, it's actually in the sky now, so it didn't snap to like the plane. What you can do is just move it around a little bit where you probably want it, and drag it down until you see that it's touching the ground. That's the easiest way for now. Looks good. When you want to have like a bigger wall, you probably want to duplicate this model, so just can press red click on your mouse button and select duplicate, and you won't notice it, but you can see that there is a new one. We can drag it out and you can see it's fine. When you want this model to be attached to this model, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. You have to press and hold V on your keyboard. You can see it's now snapping towards the edges of the model, and then just left click and drag it to the other part, and wherever you want to have it, there it will be snapped to. So you can see it's now one long wall without any gaps, and you can just keep doing this process. So duplicate, press and hold V. Oh no, there we go. Press and hold V and connect it to this one, and you see we got a bigger wall now. Okay, that looks good. We can now press Ctrl and select those other parts. You can see the outline that yours have selected the other ones, and just duplicate them all. Move them out a little bit, and that's it. We got 2 walls now. Looking good. We're gonna select one more. I'm gonna duplicate it again, and we're gonna rotate it. The shortcut for rotation is just pressing E. You can also press this button, and then just rotate it. Best way is just to rotate it a little bit, and you can see at the right of the screen which value is being adjusted. So you can see that this value is being adjusted, and because we want this to connect to our wall, we can just say okay, rotate it 90 degrees, and we can attach this to our wall, making a good corner. Press V again. We're gonna snap this point to that point. You can see we got a connected wall. I'm gonna duplicate it again, pressing V. Oh no, pressing V. Move it over, and now we almost got it connected to this wall. So we're gonna select them all by holding Control. Now we're gonna hold down V again, make sure that the square is on this part, and we're gonna drag it over there to this part of the wall. And now you see we have almost a little room we can walk in. Now last part, we want this part to be duplicated first, and then we're gonna press and hold V again, and well, almost press and hold V till you see the square, of course, and just move it to this side, and now we got a big block. We can do the same with like a roof. Do we have a roof in here? Ooh, I think this looks like a roof. Just drag it out. Here we go. And I'll move a little bit underneath it. I can press hold V, select this corner, and just put it over there. Okay, that's not. Yeah, it's not the same size as the walls. I was expecting that it was, but clearly it isn't. Now it's fine. We're just gonna do it a little bit different. We're gonna duplicate this one again, press and hold V, and I'm gonna snap this point to this point. You can see the same happening over here, but that's fine because we can move this wall by press and hold V a little bit inwards. So we got a little little room. And I'm just moving around by holding the right mouse button and using WASD. Well, actually, I'm kind of satisfied. Let's add a staircase, because why not? I'm gonna rotate it again. Press the rotation a little bit, and we can see it's going up. So we're going to put it on 90 degrees, and look at that. And I move it all the way to the side. Press and hold V again on this point and this point. And actually, we're gonna move it out a little bit, and like that. We can do the same with V. I think this looks fine. We're gonna duplicate, and we're gonna move it again. Like, select this point, put it over there. Duplicate once more. Duplicate. Select this point, move it over there. Now we got a little staircase going up to a roof. It's far away from perfect, of course, but you can see how it works. Oh, basically we got a small house right now. We could even finish it up with adding a new block and rotating it a little bit, like 45 degrees or something. I'm just gonna move this part over there. Looks good. And we do the same, but now we're going for the negative 45 degrees. And move it over there. A little gap, but nothing to worry about. And we're gonna press this one again. Move it over there. And for this, just move it over there. Look at that, we got our little house now. So we're almost ready, but we want our VRC world. I'm just gonna drag this a little bit up so I can see what's what. I'm gonna create an empty that creates an empty object, and we can select all our walls by holding shift, pressing the first one and then pressing the last one. So it's all selected now, and we're gonna drag and drop it in the game object, and we're gonna call this one by double clicking slowly by pressing F2 or in the inspector. We're gonna call it house, so we know that this is our house, and when we want to move it, it moves the whole house and ground. Actually, let me drag the ground out. We can see that we only move the house. Okay, looks good. But now we want to see if our house actually looks good with a normal person of normal height, and you can see, well, it's kind of big. This is like an avatar of 1.80 meters, and you can see that, well, we got a lot of space, so we could decide to shrink our whole house by selecting the scale option and just shrink it down. But I think just to test this out, it doesn't really matter in my opinion, because your worlds will probably look way better than what I created just now. So from here it looks good, our size looks good, and maybe we want some prefabs and we want to be able to sit down on a chair or something. So this one is a little bit under the world. We're gonna go to the inspector and reset our position first, so we know that it's on the right level. And let's just add one chair over here. I'm gonna duplicate it, chair over here, and we're gonna duplicate it again to have 3 chairs. So that looks fine. Actually, I'm gonna control select them all, move them a little bit forward to the wall, because we want a mirror over here, of course. So in this inspector, we just drag the mirror in the world, and we're gonna reset the position again and move this slightly up. Now you can see there are 2 sides. One side actually is the mirror and the other side isn't. So make sure that the mirror itself is facing towards the player. So rotate it in this way. You can see it's negative. We're gonna do -90, and that looks fine. We're gonna drag it to the wall, and that looks good, but it's a little small, so we're gonna scale it up a little bit by pressing the scale button. And now when you look at the mirror, it looks better. So we got our mirror, we got our measure man, we got our house, we got some chairs. We probably might need some lightnings as well. Also your avatar will be very dark in this world, so we're gonna press create, we're going to light and then point light, and you will see like a large bubble. We're gonna reset the position first, make it inside the house, and most of the time in a house the light is coming from above, so we're gonna drag it a little bit above us like this. And always when you're creating a light, make sure that you put it on baked. If you got too much lights that contain real-time mode, it will most likely cause a lot of lag in your worlds, and you should only do that when like shadowing is very important to your world. But baking it, it's fine if your shadow should stay statically in your world. So we got it on bake now, and let's give it some soft shadows because they look nicer. And that's it. This is the sun. We don't actually need it, so we're gonna drag it out a little bit all the way up. That looks fine. We're going to lightning and generate lightning. We can see how the light will look in the final version. You can see all kind of things are happening now in the world, and you can see a little baking is going on. Just gonna wait till that's done. It takes a little minute to be completed. A few more seconds to go. And you will see the difference immediately. Like it's already getting more light over here and a little bit darker over there. Alright, that looks good. For now, this serves the purpose perfectly. We're not gonna tweak anything else. Last thing we're gonna do is make sure that the VRC world is in the inspector. We're gonna drag this out a little bit. This will be your spawn point. Okay, so we're gonna spawn in here, and this looks fine for me right now. You could have like a door somewhere and then just spawn next to the door, but for this purpose this is fine. In many worlds you want to be able to jump, so the first thing that you want to add to the VRC world object is add component, and in here you're gonna type mod, and you will see VRC player mods. Just press it, and now you can see it's giving you an error like please use trigger. Okay, let's listen to that, and we're gonna add a new component called VRC trigger. So the error is gone now, and we got our VRC player mods over here. So this mod is a room player mod. It applies to the whole room. We're gonna check that, and we're gonna press add mods. This small window pops up, and you can see one of the mods is jump. You can set the speed, you can change the voice a bit, or give health if you're creating some sort of killing game or things that could kill you in your world. But for now, jump and press add mod, and that gives you a default jump power of 3. Most of the time this is enough. If you want to jump higher, you can increase the number, but for this it's fine. And that's it. I'm gonna check the VRChat. There are no warnings or errors or whatever in it, so it all looks good. We're gonna save this, and we're gonna build and publish it for a Windows. So just press that button. It's gonna compile your world into a package before it's starting to upload it to the VRC servers. This can take quite a while. Probably for now it's going quite fast, but let's wait for it to be done. We can test out the world ourselves. And you will see some new things in this window. There we go. So we're now in the new world creation. Let me just expand this a little bit. Mine always start in a pause state, so I'm gonna unpause it first, and you can see everything changes again. It adjusts the play capacity, and it adds some new things, but it's asking me to name my rules. So this is a super awesome house, right? This is my new house. I prefer to keep the play capacity at like 12 for worlds, just to make sure that it's not over lagging when a lot of people join in. You have to tick this little box, and actually you can give it a description of your liking. Many people like to put their like the Discord tag in it or something like this. You can give it some tags like chill or whatever you want, and then you can see it's gonna upload an image, but it doesn't look that great. When you're building your world and it's in this state right now, you will get a new game object in your hierarchy. You can just press it and you can see that it's this camera. If you move this, you can see that this image is changing. So I'm gonna position this by rotating it a little bit and move it more towards this position and a little bit higher because I like to see a little bit. So I'm gonna rotate it a little bit more, and I think that this image looks pretty fine and amazing. So now I'm gonna upload it to my account. This part's also gonna take a little bit of time, so we're just gonna wait for it to be completed so we can check out our world. In one, there we go, almost finished. Now you can see content successfully uploaded. So as I created this as a private world, I can find it in the mine category of my worlds. So let's open up Steam and press play. I'm gonna launch this right now in non-VR mode, but you're of course allowed to pick whatever you want yourself. You can try to test it in VR, but putting your goggles on every time to test out a few things could be pretty annoying. Alright, so it goes to my homeworld first. Let's go. There we go. We're gonna press escape. We're going to worlds, and then all the way down you can see mine. And in here is my super awesome house with the description of my Discord, of course. So we're gonna create a new instance. Let's do it invite only and go. We're gonna check out our world. Let's see. Okay, so I spawn a little bit low. When that's happening, we can't just exit it. I'm gonna Alt F4 this, and we're gonna fix that. Going back to our world and gonna check what's wrong with it. And when I click my ground, I can see what's going wrong, because we don't have any colliders. We need collision detection for our avatar to be able to bump against things or just walk on planes. So by selecting our floor, we're gonna add a new component, and we're gonna add the box collider. That's it. Now we can walk on the floor, but we want to be able to walk on the stairs as well and on everything else. And we're gonna select all our objects and add the mesh collider. That's it. Everything is selected and everything should contain collision detection now. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna go to our VRChat SDK builder, and then build and publish for Windows. And drag it out a little bit, and mine is always in pause position, so uncheck it first before you can even enter any information in there. I'm gonna just tick this little box and we're gonna press upload. So it's way shorter than before. All right, it's completed. So we're going back into VRChat to check out our world. There we go. Before we're entering our world, we're first gonna clear our cache just in case. We're going to settings, advanced settings, and clear downloaded content cache. Yes, I'm sure it's supposed to say 000B over here. If it's not, just press it again. Alright, and now we're going to worlds, to mine my super awesome house, and let's create a new instance. There we go. Let's find out if it worked. Go. And as we can see, we're not falling through the floor anymore. You can see our beautiful mirror is working. We got our chairs over here where we can sit on. We can like talk to each other and look at the mirror. Really nice. And you can see like the avatar is almost the same height as me. So that's a pretty default measure point for creating worlds. And we can walk to our second floor. We can jump. There, okay. 3 isn't enough for this steep. Oh, there we go. But overall, we got our house, our first world, with some advanced things like having the correct lighting in here, having the correct measurement, having some chairs to sit on, having the mirror, and with this we can build pretty much anything we want for now. But this was the first tutorial on how to build worlds from start. I hope you enjoyed it and actually can create things with it. And if you can, please let me see what you have created, because I'm kind of curious what others do. Show me around or just invite me to check it out. Send me some screenshots or whatever. I'm up for it. I would like to thank all my patrons at this moment. And for the next tutorial, we're going a bit deeper. We're going to learn how to texture this awesome house, making it like more beautiful. And we're gonna perhaps create some toggles that you can toggle on or off the mirror or seats or whatever. If there's anything that you guys like to see, just let me know and I'll try to add it into the next tutorial as well. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye bye.